Hey, what's going on, you miserable fucking bastards? Before the video starts, I would really appreciate if you help this old man out by liking and subscribing to my channel. I react to a lot of different shit on the internet and I game like a motherfucker. I'm just gaming. Appreciate it, guys. Close. Okay, let's see what fucking Cash Jordan has to say about what's going on right now. Which is basically Trump shuts down New York City subways. There's too much crime. Bro, I took the subway once. Well, you just got an indicator where basically I got it. Where I got my thing. So where basically I live. So yeah, this is I barely saw something, but maybe I had to go deep into the New York City subway station or certain stops in order for me to see something. But let's see what he has to say.
Administration threatening New York City's MTA with nothing short of an ultimatum.
Reduce crime and fare evasion in the subway system or risk having billions in federal funding withheld.
Wait, say that again?
The Trump administration threatening New York City's MTA with nothing short of an ultimatum.
Reduce crime and fare evasion in the subway system or risk having billions in federal funding withheld.
Good. Fucking good, bro. Good. These motherfuckers need to be threatened and need to be put in their fucking place to, hey, change up your shit or we're just not giving you any fucking money. Thank you. That's the only way most people will respond. Doesn't matter if you work in the government or in any other fucking location in the private sector. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, we're just going to cut money from you. We're not going to do business with you. We're not going to do anything from you. We're not going to give you anything monetarily. That's it. And I'm glad they're doing something about it. Because there has been some incidents. Because there's been altercations where I've had in the subway station 3 times with homeless people and just unsavory people years ago. God knows how it is now.
So as you can tell, the New York City subway's got its fair share of problems, but it just got a new one. Because even though this place costs $20 billion a year to operate, New York City leaders say the subway may have to shut down because that's not enough. Yet the Trump administration has flat out refused to fund further improvements to the subway whatsoever until the city stops rampant fare evasion and stops having the subway double as a...
The only fare evasion that you can possibly do is this. The fucking, these turnstile entrances and exits. That's the only way you can get turnstile. And these been around for a long these been around for like 25 years. Instead of the fucking like fare hoppers that you see right there. Just use this. Just use this door. There won't be any more fare evasions. Plain and simple. Except for the metal doors where people have to use in order for them to get like some carts or some stuff through. Or like police or firemen have to get in for an emergency. Other than that, there's no reason for people to be, you know, using the door in general. Just use these. Use the fucking doors. There'll be no more fare evasion. I guarantee you that. Never again.
Homeless shelter.
Get a good look at this group. Police say the group approached the 23-year-old victim, but it's unclear what led to the incident.
I really feel that a lot of work needs to be done. There's a lot of people that I see around.
The health system doesn't take care of the homeless.
I definitely think it's very scary riding the subway sometimes. I feel like there should be more safety down in the subways.
Dude, when I took the subway station a few days ago, there was a cart, just a big cart on the E-train, just full of fucking homeless people. Excuse me, like I mentioned before in my earlier videos, if you see a cart that's completely fucking empty, then it's basically homeless people or smells like piss or something happened in that car. When you see a shit ton of homeless people in one single car, or like one homeless people, he probably stinks and nobody wants to get in that car, or they just segregate themselves all the way to like the corners. That's basically whenever you guys come to New York and you take the train, that's basically what you're going to see. Or like if you witness something like that, don't get on that specific train or that specific cart.
John Duffy saying he will withhold or redirect federal funding from the agency unless it can prove it's making the system safe from violent crime and homelessness. Commuters are sick and tired of feeling like they have to jeopardize their safety to get to work, go to school, or to travel around the city.
They are bragging. Governors cut a video showing how great it is on the subway, bragging that we have cameras in every subway. Good. Now we can video the assaults.
How often do you run into someone?
Yeah, basically watch you get your ass kicked or something worse than that, pushed in the train, stabbed, jacked, or whatever the hell. Doesn't really do anything. It's just helps you like view the crime that's being committed upon you, and most of the time they don't even catch the person unless it's like the crime is so egregious or something like that.
You need to involuntarily commit and you just can't, and you have to leave them.
On a daily basis, and it's heartbreaking because these people may be emaciated, poor hygiene, and a desperate need for help.
So So the agency running the subway says that things down here are about to go from bad to worse. But what nobody in charge of the subway wants to admit is that if this is all you can accomplish with $20 billion, nobody in their right mind is going to give you any more of their money. I mean, look at this place. The entire thing screams financial.
Wait, they get $20 billion and yet nothing's been able... They have done nothing in regard to the subway station as in cleaning up crime? Shit, I wouldn't give them another fucking dime either. What the fuck?
Irresponsibility, especially since other countries are able to run profitable public transit systems.
Thank you, bro. Have you seen what the Russian subway station looks like? The subway station looks like in fucking Russia. It's clean. It's proper. It looks good. Like, shit doesn't fucking happen in these countries, and they run on time. Same in France. When the train says it's gonna come in at 4 o'clock on the dot, it comes in at 4 o'clock on the dot, and the trains are relatively clean, cleaner than the New York City subway station, and everything looks new. Not so much England. England's kind of like in the same boat as ours. You know, I maybe they did some improvements, but I've seen that England's tube system is like not the best either. You know?
Which don't also function as places of refuge or are anywhere near as dangerous as our subway. But perhaps the most embarrassing thing is that even though crime down here is slightly lower today than it was a few months ago, the entire city was made much less safe to accomplish that result. Because for over a year, National Guard troops and extra police,
which did fucking nothing, by the way,
have been down here relentlessly rearresting repeat offenders who rotate through our justice system only to reappear in different parts of the subway, sometimes within hours of getting busted. But here's the thing, the National Guard to reappear in different...
These barriers that they put, these metal things, were placed to deter people from getting, like, hopping over the turnstile, which you could clearly see does fucking nothing.
Parts of the subway, sometimes within hours of getting busted. But here's the thing, the National Guard can't arrest anyone, they're just there to back up the police. And any cop you see down here is one less officer patrolling the streets above the subway, which are now more dangerous. Which brings us to the real reason giving this place any more money is a terrible idea, because more money isn't going to erase the subway's problems. Especially since the agency running this place is threatening...
I hate this too. Certain train cars, like, certain subway cars have, like, locked doors. Like, you cannot cross through a certain threshold in like with some of the older cars, like the newer cars, like the E or the F train, like those long new silver looking ones, not new but relatively new, you can go in and out of the different cars by just flipping open the door. The older ones, nah, you can't. It's kind of like you're locked into that specific cart that you initially got into. So basically if something happens in that car, you're basically just you're just cooked, you know? Can't get out, you're fucked. That's it.
To make service worse than it is right now if more...
These cars have the ability to open the doors, typically the E or the F train.
Money doesn't arrive, revealing that they only want more money to keep things exactly the way they are, while lying to everyone about how safe the subway actually is. But as you're about to see, President Trump has turned the tables on New York City's leaders who think they can spend like there's no tomorrow, ordering them to either stop crime and start helping the homeless, or to shut down completely. So as you look around at how wonderful the New York...
The fact that it's so fucked up that Donald Trump has to put their foot on their necks in order for them to actually do something. Because I don't know, like right now, I'm not sure if you heard right now what's going on. Like there's like a big trade war going up where the tariff for China is going to be going up from 104% by midnight. It's past midnight, so I have no idea how the things are going. But in general, when you fucking twist a person's arm and you fucking... tell them to, hey, get your shit together or we're not giving you any money, they tend to like get in line real fucking quickly. Let's see what's gonna happen now, because I want to see this shit change, bro. People shouldn't have to fucking live like that. They shouldn't have to fucking be afraid to look over the shoulder. Like in New York, people already look over the shoulder, but we shouldn't look over our shoulders every single second to see if there's no homeless crazy dude with you, or a bunch of thugs that will just come and fuck you up or rob you or whatever, or push you in the subway track. Nah, this shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way in any capacity. So I'm glad Donald Trump's saying, yo, change this shit, we're not giving you any more money. I'm glad that's happening.
York City subway is, it's important to understand that New York City is asking America to keep giving it money so that things can stay just the way you see them right now. They aren't saying any of this money is going to go towards cleaning this place up or helping the people living down here on a full-time basis. Instead, it's just to maintain the status quo, keeping this place the progressive nightmare our leaders have allowed it to become, which just seems to be getting worse, not better.
Despite some recent high-profile crimes, the MTA insists that the transit system is safer today than it was.
No, it's not.
The agency says crime is down 40% so far this year compared to the same period in 2020, and the agency asked.
So it's crazy to listen to our leaders tell us that things down here are better than they've ever been when clearly they aren't. It says right here, felony assaults are up 55%. That's insane. And sadly, there are so many random incidents taking place down here, it's hard to keep track of them all. And for that reason, riders are watching their backs and looking over their shoulders more than they ever have before. Just the other day, this woman randomly shoved someone and then opened her jacket, revealing a weapon. Stuff like this happens all the time, and that's why people who use the train...
So what? Worst case scenario, people nowadays, regular hardworking people got to carry fucking knives or some shit like that in order for you to actually feel safe. And that's actually, that wouldn't make me feel safe at all, because if he has a knife and then I have a knife, I would fucking feel scared shitless, bro. Imagine, what, were you gonna get into a fucking knife fight or some shit like that, or like some other weapon type of fight, just so I could fucking just, you know, get home or get to work on time? Excuse me, not on time, just get to work or home alive? Like, it shouldn't be this way, man.
They know that they need to be extra careful when they're down here. Subway assaults are actually 3 times higher than they were back in 2009, and a lot of the crime is concentrated on specific stations, and recidivism has doubled.
When you say specific stations, basically the poor stations. Like in the Bronx, it's a lot. I guarantee you it's probably the Bronx. The Bronx gets a bad rap for being like the most dingiest, like nastiest fucking borough in New York. And I guarantee you they got a lot of fucking shit going on right over there. Like the subway stations where it's like a lot poorer, that's where a lot of the bullshit happens, if that makes any sense. Here in the like the fancier stations, like especially in Manhattan, like Port Authority or Columbus Circle or Lexington, now you're gonna see that's where most of the police are, like looking all over the place and shit like that, quote unquote protecting the people. But the higher you go or the poorer you go, you're not gonna see that.
Since 2019, with many repeat offenders wandering the system, committing the same crimes over and over again. While at the same time, many of these same individuals struggle with homelessness, mental illness, or a combination of both. And since 2009, the rise in subway crime has been driven by assaults, not robberies. And what this reveals is that if you compare a short period of time, like say this week to last week, or crime stats this month compared to a year ago, you're gonna get a different picture than if you zoom out, revealing that we're actually on a downward trend, and any success is just a speed bump on the road to failure.
Do you think they've gotten better, or? I don't necessarily think they've gotten worse.
Mainly the flaws are, you got a lot of homeless, you know, if you go right downstairs, they're usually down here in this one, and they can ride the train, so I don't think it's that bad, but it has its flaws.
Just a big city, there's a lot of people, you just can't avoid.
Notice how every single person interviewed was trying to be positive, but was somehow unable to do so. They know they're on.
Fucking hate that, bro. Just say what you gotta say, bro. We get a lot of transplants here in New York, bro, from different parts of the state. Like some of them come from like very progressive states or like very liberalistic states. Like if you actually interviewed a New Yorker, like if you interviewed me, I would tell you straight up, no, it's not fucking better, bro. There's a crap, you know, the more PC version, like not cursing because they would cut you off. Like it's not looking good right now. There's a lot of homeless people. Nobody's doing anything about it. You have to look over your shoulder constantly. Of course, like please interview like an actual New Yorker and let's see what they have to actually say.
On camera, they didn't want to be nasty, but they didn't have glowing remarks for the train, and that's at a nice station, 72nd Street, Upper East Side.
Yep.
They got the truth. Riders down here know that it's not a safe place whatsoever, and they don't necessarily feel safe with all of the criminal activity taking place down here on a regular basis. On top of that,
I don't even stay in these anymore, bro. I don't stay anywhere near this particular area when I'm waiting for a train. I would wait by the staircase. Because I'm not gonna be no fucking victim and get pushed into the train tracks. Nope. I'm gonna wait right here, like near the train station when you're coming down to the path, like so you can wait for the train. That's where I typically wait. They can't get you and they can't push you anywhere. I'll probably get pushed down the fucking stairs, but that's better than getting pushed into the tracks. You know, lesser of two evils, I guess.
Necessarily feel safe with all of the criminal activity taking place down here on a regular basis. On top of that, the crime stats we do get might be totally bogus. Look at this, a transit commander was just punished for faking crime statistics. And the transit commander in question allegedly had 2 sergeants and a lieutenant under his command falsify reports, even forging signatures to play down assaults and grand larcenies in the subway system. And how much you want to bet this isn't an isolated incident? If it's happening here, it could be happening somewhere else.
I really feel that a lot of work needs to be done. There's a lot of people that I see around.
The health system doesn't take care of the homeless.
Those were the first 3 commuters we spoke with following a press conference by Mayor Eric Adams, where he said subway crime has fallen 28% year to date. He also
look at that. Here you got some interviews at a different subway station, and you get very different answers. The first 3 people the news approached all essentially said the same thing. Riders aren't stupid. The city can publish whatever crime stats they want.
Yeah, the richer subway stations you go to, the less you're gonna see. The more poor places, the more you're gonna see it.
But that's not going to change reality, which people see and experience for themselves when they try to go to work safely. And when they see people living in the subway who obviously need assistance and aren't getting it, while our legal system ties the hands of police and authorities, who can only temporarily detain those who might be a danger to themselves or others. And let's be real, does any of that sound like a system that America should invest more into? On top of that, this panhandling from New York City is coming at a time when the city's taxation cameras for vehicles have already started up and will generate over $1 billion a year, 80% of which is supposed to find its way down here to fix the sub.
Which is not. Most of it's going to go to the pockets of these politicians, and whatever is left, maybe, but not really.
Plus, it's not like the federal government doesn't give the city any money for transportation. They already shell out over $2 billion a year. And the concern is that if more money is given to the MTA who runs the subway, things down here aren't going to change. The downward spiral is just going to continue. And let's think about this personally for a second. If you've got a friend who's in dire straits and he keeps asking you for money, well, are you going to give it to him if he doesn't promise to make any life changes and clean himself up? If you do, you're just kind of enabling his bad behavior. And the transportation secretary says the trend of violent crime, homelessness, and other threats to public safety on one of our nation's most prominent metro systems is unacceptable. After years of soft on crime policies, our department is stepping in to restore order. And let's be honest, it's about time somebody did that.
He also says the PATH teams of outreach workers, police, and medical professionals who are in the system 24/7 have removed 900 homeless people in the last 8 months, including many experiencing mental health challenges.
Of course.
What do you say to those New Yorkers who say they just don't think this is working?
Yeah, no, and listen, perception is reality. We get that.
So 900.
I heard that Mayor Adams, he recently fucking just completely dropped the Democratic Party and he became an independent. So I don't think that would really do much anyway, because he already did a lot of fucking damage in the past. And now that, you know, Donald Trump was elected, he's basically kissing his ass. So, you know, and all the fucking leftists and all the Democratic part, like, all the people who are more democratic are like hating on him and like getting mad at him and shit like that. But I don't think he really gives a shit. I mean, I think they also threatened to expose some of the shit that he done in the past, but he doesn't even give a shit at this point. He's just gonna be like, you know what, I'm done with your party, I'm independent, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want now, you know. But let's see what he does. If not, there's also a fucking election coming up for mayor, so it could be the fact that he's just saying face in order for him to, like, you know, for people to re-elect him. But I don't know, I think it might be a little bit too late for that.
People have been removed from the subway, which might sound great, but it's actually nothing compared to the number of individuals these outreach workers encounter who refuse help. Look at this. Since last August, the city has engaged with over 11,000 people, which helps you understand just how big the problems down here really are. And with so few of those people taking the city up on its offer of free services, it reveals many of the folks down here are here because they think this is the best place for them, and they have no plans of getting out of here on their own anytime soon. Now, the city does have some involuntary commitment type policies, but the way those are implemented now mean that in many cases a person who needs long-term treatment is released in a very short period of time, maybe just as little as 72 hours, and then they're right back down here. And what that reveals is trying to save this place or improve it or even fund it in its current state is a losing battle that will never yield a good result for anybody. And if nobody steps in to restore order, there will never be changes made down here that take this place in a positive direction, which is why the Trump administration has taken the step of stopping all future funding, even if it means the subway goes without repairs and has to shut down. And remember, this place already gets $20 billion a year to look like this. There's definitely money out.
Fucking seriously, you get $20 billion and it still looks like a fucking shit shack? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Good. Cut them off, Trump. Please, cut these fuckers off. Fuck them. Till they get their shit together, which would probably not. No one... Let the fucking train station go into shit. Let it get fucking destroyed. Maybe that'll fucking wake up the people of New York, because we became such fucking cowards lately, bro. Let them fucking revolt and like yell like, hey, bro, New York City, and they better not fucking say shit about Trump like, hey, fuck you, Trump, for cutting out the funding for New York City subway station. Now the subway looks even more of a shithole than it did before. I hope they instead of like shitting on Trump, they shit on the New York City public subway system. I hope they fucking shit on Mayor Adams or Governor Holtschuh and say, yo, what the fuck are you doing with all this money? Come on, bro. Stop pocketing your shit and fix our fucking subway station, all right? Enough with your racketeering bullshit. I hope New Yorkers do something like that. But I'm not gonna hold my breath though.
Out there. On top of that, the federal government is accusing the city of ignoring obvious solutions which would yield immediate improvements to all of the problems we see down here. You know, it's crazy how even something as simple as an escalator at one of the nicest stations in town...
Is that Port Authority? I think that's Port Authority.
Never seems to be working 100% of the time. If you go to some of the stations in the outer boroughs, they're never working, ever. And this is happening while our leaders tell us the subway's fine.
Yep, the subway where I live currently, the fucking the elevator isn't working either.
Everything's great. Pay us so we can keep it the way you see it right now, even though there are unstable individuals everywhere, trash everywhere, and armed commuters randomly confronting each other. And the obvious solution to this is to do more, to get people off the streets proactively before something bad happens.
Williams also told us how he often encounters people who clearly cannot take care of themselves, and there's nothing he can do. How often do you run into someone you need to involuntarily commit, and you just can't, and you have to leave them?
On a daily basis. And it's heartbreaking.
So in spite of 900 removals, the outreach workers doing those removals testify that they see people who need help all the time, and sadly there's nothing they can do. They just got to keep moving, leaving folks where they...
Yeah, because you can't really physically like take them anywhere. If they say no, if the person that is like homeless and mentally ill says no, I don't want to leave it, I don't need your help, the person that's trying to help can't really do anything. They have to just leave and just, you know, abandon them and whatever. But there might be a loophole around that, like if they're not in the right state of mind, or if they're not like you know, like if they're not cognizant of what they're doing and stuff like that, then maybe. But oftentimes nothing really ever gets done. Plus these people have no funding or no like backing in order for them to help these people. So it's like a losing battle, you know.
Find them, because our progressive laws have removed all humanity from our society, forcing those who can help to look the other way when they see someone who needs it and refuses, even if that person is living in a manner that isn't doing them any favors. But there's another easy solution to the city's money problems that the federal government says New York should look into. And look at this, right now the state who's asking for money has a proposal to give away its own money in the form of $300 to $500 checks, which will cost $3 billion, money which could go to fixing the subway. How crazy is it to ask the country for a bailout just so you can turn around and give that money to other people while not using it for its intended purpose? Revealing that New York isn't broke. No, instead, it's fairly well off. It's just so terrible at managing its own money that it's got to ask for more of it.
Yeah, basically, they're pocketing all the fucking dollars, bro.
Everybody else's, while gangs are allowed.
Dude, the rest of the country, all the people who are from the U.S., don't fund us. Don't give us no more money. Do not fund us in any capacity. Tell us to kick rocks. Tell us to go fuck ourselves. And we want to see this shit go down so we can fucking help, so we can hold our government, not our government, our fucking local government accountable.
To freely roam the subway, robbing people.
Get a good look at this group. Police say they're searching for these 5 people after they stole a man's phone. Police say the group approached the 23-year-old victim, but it's unclear.
So this gang of 5 people randomly went after somebody and stole their belongings. And you know what? They weren't even covering their faces. That's how little fear there is of law enforcement here. But you know something? These criminals that are in the subway stealing and robbing people, well, studies show that these are the people who are most likely to avoid paying the fare to get in the first place. Like the 2 guys who just jumped in the train right here. On top of that, fare evasion costs the city $800 million a year. And that's because thousands of people do not pay to ride the subway or the bus. They just get on and ride for free. And some of them then...
I don't know about the bus, bro. I rarely ever see fucking people just fare evading the bus. Like a long time ago, I saw like a homeless woman who fucking reeked like ass, and it was just a terrible smell. She got on the bus, and I told the fucking butcher, "How come you're letting this woman in on the bus without paying?" And he told me like, "You really can't do much about it. I mean, they have to let him in, you know." And then I was like, "All right, then what's stopping me from just not paying, just getting on the bus and not paying?" Then he didn't say shit to me. He just looked at me because he fucking knew the answer.
Go on to do other things once they're down there, revealing that cracking down on fare evasion would not only help the city earn more money, it would also make the subway safer. This guy over here is holding the gate for people, and he's asking people for money on their way in, and it's working. Look at that. And it's just so...
Oh, I see those guys. I see those guys all the fucking time. Basically, these dudes hold the fucking Metro cards, have a shit ton of Metro cards, and he offers you to fucking swipe. He offers to swipe the Metro card for him if you give him like $2 and shit like that. You give him the $2, and then he swipes the Metro card, and then you can go in. Basically, those guys have been around for decades.
New York City is out there asking America for more money so that stuff like this can keep happening with no authority presence down here whatsoever to stop it.
I don't know how it's gonna go like at the end of the year, because I'm not sure if you guys know, like we use the yellow Metro cards to get in and out. Also, like students use their student card. It's like a white card with like green and shit like that, if I can remember correctly. I'm not sure if the color changed or not, but the Metro cards are going away at the end of this year. And we're gonna be using some type of app on your phone in order for you to fucking get in and shit like that. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work, you know, for these guys who just, you know, fare evade and shit like that.
Residents we spoke with Sunday say they're not surprised.
It's very scary, but you don't know
what to expect no more, especially in New York City.
I personally don't feel the subways are safe. I'd stay.
So the levels of lawlessness down here are so bad, it's no wonder that nobody feels safe riding the train. And if the people on the train don't feel safe, the country shouldn't feel safe bailing it out so it can stay this way. And one of the individuals interviewed mentioned that they don't think the subway is safe in the evening. And you know what? If it's not safe down here in the evening, maybe it shouldn't run.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't take the subway station, the subway after midnight, bro. Especially on these sketchy fucking on the sketchier metro stations where there aren't any police or any National Guards in it. Yeah, that's probably a no-go. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't risk my life with that shit.
In the evening. Maybe instead of this being a 24-hour facility, certain stations should close at certain hours so that they can be cleaned and so that people who need help can get it. They're always shutting down trains anyways to do work. Perhaps they should shut them down completely and transfer people to buses above ground when there's less traffic on the streets to begin with. Maybe the city's gonna have to start doing things like that, which are drastic, but might actually help this place turn a corner. What do you think the city should do? Should America pay?
Yeah, sometimes whenever they're doing some type of fucking repair or like there's a strike, if I can remember correctly, mostly repairs, there's like a shuttle bus where basically you can take a fucking bus in order for you to get to wherever you have to go. It's kind of like it's the same stop as the train that you're trying to take, so they might start doing that. I don't know.
New York to keep things the way they are down here. Is that a good idea? Is that a good use of the country's money? What do you think? Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.
What's going on, guys, and welcome.
Oops. Good fucking video by Cash Jordan, man. Good fucking video.